But okay, so how about a top 5 boxers?
Okay, but we have to limit that to boxers who are not active.
Okay, because you want to take in the totality of someone's career?
Well, that's better than what I was going to say. I'm still covering the sport.
Right.
I can't have favorites. I try to actively not. I like guys for different reasons.
So yeah, top 5 not active.
In no particular
order.
Jack Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
All right, number 1.
Okay.
Jack Johnson, number 1, because Jack Johnson is number 1.
Right.
So, I don't believe boxing started until blacks were able to compete for the heavyweight championship. So anything prologue to that
sounds about right to me.
Is, you know what I mean? Just like fodder. Just
right.
Like, oh, okay.
It was just it was this.
Yeah, it does. It's not. Oh my God. He was that too. But it's like if everybody can't.
How many rounds is Jack Johnson going?
Oh my God, man. Countless. I mean, there's an answer to this question, but it's nothing even close to what you would think of as a fight night now. Right? Like, they were fighting more frequently. They were fighting way more rounds. There was no adherence to what that kind of punishment might be on the body.
Right.
And there is a theory that because bodies weren't what they are now then, that maybe the amount of abuse you would take from somebody who's now an athlete, it's not like what athletes were like then, but still, it's leather gloves and you're getting punched. I look at fighters for more than what they did in the ring, but what they meant in history and in society and what that moment was that they embodied. So when I give you a top 5, it has less to do with their wins and losses or even proficiency than some other boxing journalists might.
It's the cultural experiences that they bring to the fight with them.
My metric is where they lie in history and where how their moment related to what was happening in the world.
I think that's a fair metric.
This is part of why I analogize boxing to so many other things.
That's how Jack Johnson can become number 1.
That's right. Sugar Ray Robinson. Now, you talk about how many rounds they fought, and like the amount of tape you can see of actual Sugar Ray Robinson is limited, and he's a popular choice.
He's considered the popular number 1 greatest choice, right?
For me, it was because he fought so often for so long, and yes, he was excellent at that. But the amount of physical, mental fortitude and resilience and tenacity, drive and take. It's unimaginable how many rounds this guy fought and how many fights he fought and how close together all this happened. I actually can't conceive of how is this true?
Right.
You know what I mean? And mad swag. Right. I've seen more pictures of him than I've seen videos of him fighting, but the guy in the picture, I like that guy.
Okay.
Right. So Roy Jones Jr. This is not only because of what I've already said about his genius. He's a real scientist, but he made his body do things it shouldn't be able to do. He hit people from angles that aren't on the equation.
Right.
And he made it look effortless.
Yeah.
I think this guy,
they
really say
did.
ring intelligence, this guy is a genius. And again, I had the great fortune of knowing him personally by covering him for all these years, and I like the guy.
Right.
It means a lot that you're a good guy,
right?
Not just a great fighter.
Right.
Oscar De La Hoya.
Okay.
Oscar De La Hoya.
Which might surprise some.
That was one of my first fights I watched.
Oscar De La Hoya, because he's an excellent fighter. If there were a style that I would have most imitated or try to emulate is a better word than imitate, while I was really young and doing these kind of things, it was Oscar. It was in my mind.
Okay.
I thought he was a very efficient fighter. He was always smiling. I liked the Golden Boy shit. I liked that he brought Mexicans into a light of being a poster boy. And although he went through a lot of cultural adversity for speaking English, for being clean cut in the way that he was, they thought that he was trying to separate himself from Mexico and his culture and all that stuff. And I didn't see it that way, but I related to that. He was the first fighter to create a major promoting boxing company that really has done historic fights consistently since it's been in existence. And it's had its trials and tribulations to be sure, but for him to have the mind to even do that, have the respect in the business to do that, he put a lot of Mexican fighters on who would have otherwise not gotten the kind of contracts that they did get. I thought Oscar De La Hoya, because, what they say, you stay around long enough to watch yourself become the villain. He's human. He's an athlete. He's a guy like anybody else, and he's going to have his personal stuff. And so because he's been around so long and the world has changed, you know so much more about people than you otherwise would, the way people view Oscar today, I don't think is taking into account the totality of his offering to the sport. Like,
Understand.
When in the long lens of history, Oscar's an icon. Like, this guy really did a lot, and he's an excellent, excellent fighter. So we can't just be like, throw Oscar away because there's an embarrassing this or a silly photo of that, or right now he's not on top as Golden Boy. But there was a long time when Golden Boy was the only game in town. Don't forget, Floyd Mayweather fought under the Golden Boy banner for many of his most popular major money-making fights. It was Golden Boy that was the promoter. So, shout out to Oscar De La Hoya. And that final slot, for me, would have to go to Sugar Ray Leonard.
Oh, wow. Okay, yes.
Sugar Ray Leonard. Because, again, what he symbolized at the time that he was fighting, and he was in an era, what some consider the last real golden era of boxing, to be, again, a golden boy, but for a black community. And he took his shots for not being as political as some people would have liked him to be. He was in the Reagan White House. He was able to sell product like other fighters weren't. And, he progressed through his career in the way that he felt most advantageous to himself. But he is a great image. Everybody can't be that guy. And I think he was true to himself. I don't think he was denying anything inside him. He was putting forward an image that could be looked up to, an image that was marketable, and he was successful. He did the work necessary, and he made it look easy, so people said, everything was given to him. One of the greatest compliments that you could get when you work hard and accomplish and achieve and meet those goals, and for somebody saying, they gave it to him, it's too easy. Because that means that not only you did it, boy, you did it in style. People didn't even see you sweat.
Yes, indeed.
What we done started. Look at what we done started. This the people party. When opportunity knocking, then young nigga move that door. Whoa, get your foot stuck in it, call me young, go get it. They can't fuck with it, might as well roll with it. What's the word?